The PS1 has a great assortment of games. It has great games, average ones, and of course, very bad ones. Today we will explore its absolute worst games according to both critics and gamers. Stick around and find out why so many have deemed these games the worst titles for the PS1. This is Super Game Ghost, and you're watching the top 10 worst rated PS1 games. Let's start.
Number 10.
The Simpsons Wrestling is a wrestling video game released in 2001. It was developed by Big 8 Productions and published by Fox Interactive. The game is a wrestling-style fighting game where players can choose from a variety of characters from the Simpsons universe, including Homer, Bart, Marge, Lisa, Krusty the Clown, and others. Each character has unique moves and abilities which can be entertaining for about a few minutes. This game really isn't all that bad at first glance, and that's really the problem with this game. The more you play it, the more you grow to dislike it. This is probably because everything becomes extremely repetitive in this game after about 5 minutes of playtime. Although The Simpsons Wrestling garnered some attention due to its tie-in with the popular TV show, it received mixed to negative reviews from critics and players alike. The game was criticized for its uninspired gameplay, limited movesets, and lack of replayability compared to other wrestling games available at the time. The Simpsons Wrestling has an average review score of 4.79 out of 10.
Number 9.
Hugo II is a platformer released in 1999. It was developed and published by ITE Media. This game is based on the interactive Danish children's show known as Hugo the Troll, which aired in the early 90s. This game saw a European-only release. The first thing I thought while playing this game was why? Why did they make such an atrocious-looking game? Apparently this game was originally released for the PC in the early 90s and was slightly redone and enhanced for the PS1. This entire game consists of only 4 playable levels. If you ever die, you are rewarded with a cutscene showcasing an incoherent joke from Hugo.
Troll the rat, troll the root, this game is kaput.
What did he say? Once you use up all your lives in story mode, you are unceremoniously and slowly loaded back into the main menu. No game over screen, nothing. Progressing through the story mode is kind of pointless anyway, seeing as you can just pick and choose the exact same levels in practice mode. Hugo II has a review score of 4.75 out of 10.
The plane crashed.
Number 8.
South Park is an FPS game released in 1999. It was developed by Iguana Entertainment and published by Acclaim. I remember playing this game on the N64 when it was first released and thinking it was a pretty good game. It was no GoldenEye, but I still thought it was okay. I haven't played this game since then, and now after all these years, I gotta say, this game is most definitely below average in many ways. Firstly, the game's natural progression is quite slow, and you'll be stuck shooting turkeys for a good 20 to 40 minutes before even encountering a single new enemy. The game's entire environment is non-interactive, and only enemies are affected by your attacks. The PS1 version also has a much heavier distance fog effect compared to the N64, so have fun looking at that literally anywhere you turn. South Park has a review aggregate of 4.7 out of 10.
Number 7.
ATV Quad Racing is an ATV racing sim game released in 2000. It was developed by Climax Group and published by Acclaim. This game has 3 terrains to choose from: snow, desert, and forest, as well as 4 tracks for each terrain. Although this game features a variety of racers and ATVs to choose from, the overall impact they have on the gameplay is really just negligible. From what I've experienced, it is quite easy to win a race, and the game really lacks any sort of challenge. Overall, the game itself is uneventful, and I can't see anyone playing more than 30 minutes of this game before shutting it off. ATV Quad Racer has a review score of 4.6 out of 10.
Number 6.
Spawn the Eternal is an action-adventure/fighting video game released in 1997. The game was developed by Sony Interactive Studios America, and it was published by Sony Computer Entertainment. This game continually switches between 2 modes of play: an exploration mode and a fighting mode, which occurs anytime you encounter any enemies. The environments you encounter in Spawn Eternal during exploration mode are eternally flat, and it is hard to differentiate between interactive and non-interactive details. What about the fighting mode? It can't be that bad, right? If anything, Spawn is usually known to have a badass arsenal of weapons and special moves at his disposal. Not in this game. In this game, his arsenal of attacks include one punch and one kick, which he lazily performs. Even random street thugs you encounter are able to beat Spawn Up. Awesome! Also, this game's entire budget was probably spent on licensing costs, so the cutscenes look like this. Spawn the Eternal has a review aggregate score of 4.58 out of 10.
Number 5.
Kiss Pinball is a pinball simulation video game released in 2001. It was developed by Tarantula Studios and published by Take-Two Interactive. I don't know if any of Kiss's actual music is on here because I'm not really a fan, but I cut the music out anyway so I don't get hit with copyright infringement. The sound effects in this game are entertaining enough anyway. From what I understand, this game cost $10 upon release. One might think, that's not too bad. However, judging by the quality of this game, it is my genuine belief that this game should not have sold for more than $1. This game has 2 pinball tables. That's it. Not much else to say about this pile of junk. Kiss Pinball has an average review score of 4.56 out of 10.
Number 4.
Dreams is a 3D platformer released in 1998. It was developed and published by Cryo Interactive. When I think of a perfect representation of a bad game, this is the one that comes to mind. The nightmarish visuals, the blocky graphics, the shoddy controls, and the incomprehensible physics. This game is the absolute epitome of a bad game. This game is basically a dumbed down version of its PC counterpart, Dreams to Reality. The PC version was actually a decent game and is much more visually appealing compared to this horrible PS1 port. The first obstacle you encounter while playing this game is figuring out what the heck you're even supposed to do. This game would have really benefited from a short tutorial stage, or at least some button prompts that tell you what you're actually doing. The thing that really stands out for me in this game are the bizarre cutscenes. See for yourselves.
Understood. Come on. They need us at headquarters. Okay.
Dreams' review aggregate score is 4.54 out of 10.
Rip his arms off. John? Can you hear me? Ronald, you're alive.
Number 3.
Batman Gotham City Racer is a driving game released in 2001. It was developed by Sinister Games and published by Ubisoft. The title of this game is rather inaccurate. At no point in this game is there any actual racing going on. There is some driving and chasing happening, but no racing. Had this game been a racing game, maybe it would have been a bit more interesting. However, judging by the quality of this game, I don't think they even had the budget to make a full-fledged racing game. The entirety of this game includes a few cutscenes from the new Batman Adventures animated series, which is followed by some gameplay. The gameplay mostly consists of attempting to maneuver the Batmobile through the streets of Gotham while fulfilling the stage's objectives. Every stage in this game is practically the same, and the objectives for these stages are really just tedious and dull. This game was released in the latter stages of the PS1's lifecycle, but graphically it just looks terrible. Probably another case of licensing costs taking up this game's entire development budget. Batman Gotham City Racer has an average review score of 4.5 out of 10.
Now talk. Where is he?
How about I go check his calendar?
Number 2.
The Mission is an action/football simulation game released in 2000. It was developed by EMG and MC2 Microids. Can you guess how they came up with the concept for this game? Well, I'll tell you. They used the Nike football commercial known as The Mission as its source material.
You serious?
In this game, you play as your pick of 2 footballers. Your mission is to steal a rare football and defeat an army of ninjas. Wow. Once you acquire the aforementioned rare football, you use it to solve various puzzles and attack enemies in each stage. I've never gotten that far. I really can't even get past the intro level. This game would have really benefited from a tutorial because I can't even seem to kick the ball high enough to disable the security system. The mission's review aggregate score is 4.45 out of 10.
Number 1.
And the worst rated game for the PS1 is Beyblade. Beyblade is a top-spinning sim game released in 2001. It was developed by WaveEdge and published by Takara. I know there's some Beyblade fans out there who will hate me for this, but I never got the hype surrounding this anime and the whole spinning disc thing. I remember Beyblade was a huge thing back when I first started high school for like a year, and then its popularity seemed to die out pretty quickly. Anyways, this game is just downright boring. Maybe if each match didn't take a mind-numbing 5 minutes to load, this game would have been a little less boring. Winning matches against your opponents in this game earns you points, which you can then use to buy parts for your Beyblade. How does a spinning top even have more than 2 components? I might not know any better, but all of this seems pretty inconsequential, since it looks like every match is determined simply by which Beyblade gets knocked out of the arena. And this is all really based on luck. Unless I'm missing something. I don't know. This game is just too boring. Beyblade has an average review score of 4.4 out of 10. Thanks for watching.